Welcome to PricePlow. This is Mike, and today I am very excited to finally introduce you to a product from Optimum EFX Shred Signal. The reason we're excited is because this is the first ever supplement to have NMB Nutrition's ZinjaBurn, otherwise known as Dehydrozingerone. This is a stimulant-free fat burner. I love the name because pretty much it's going to do what it says in terms of turning up the signal in the body to get shredding. And we're going to talk about these mechanisms here. This product was sent for free, and actually I've had this for a while. I actually ran one bottle, and it took a while to get on the market because I believe, I don't know for sure, but because it is informed sport tested, and I think they had to wait for the certification, but it goes to show that this is quality stuff that is free of banned substances for drug tested athletes, and it's finally out. So we have an article we're going to reference here talking about this. Now, in a lot of fat burners, right off the bat, let me tell you, 30 servings per container, 2 capsules, and inside we are going to get the trifecta of burn ingredients from NMB Nutrition, who sponsored this video and article. And it includes 450 milligrams of MitoBurn, L-BAIBA, which we've talked a lot on this channel. I'll get into that as well. 80 milligrams of CaloriBurn grains of paradise extract. That's twice the clinically tested dosage. And then we have a nice 450 milligrams of ZinjaBurn Dehydrozingerone, paired with 5 milligrams of BioPerine black pepper extract, which actually has a little bit of fat burning potential on its own. We usually use it to boost the absorption of other ingredients. There's actually some mechanisms to help with fat burn as well. So let's dig into that. We've covered the combination of MitoBurn and CaloriBurn many times. So we have long videos, we have podcasts, we have very large blog posts. So in general, to tell the story, when your body or an animal's body begins to exercise or physically exert itself, it starts to break down amino acids, it starts to release energy, and one of those amino acids that we break down is valine, the branched chain amino acid that we see in our BCA and EAA supplements. So valine starts to break down into L-BAIBA. And what the researchers started to realize is that L-BAIBA is actually, it's a non-protein amino acid that is actually a myokine. It is a signal. And what happens is that the body uses L-BAIBA to signal to the rest of the body that, hey, exercise is happening. So start ramping up those programs. And those programs include breaking down more fat, protecting the bone tissue, protecting kidney tissue, and increasing ketone output. All these great things that we like to associate with exercise. So realizing that this was happening, researchers in the 2010s, late 2000s, early 2010s started to realize, well, hey, what would happen if we actually supplement more of this stuff in the mice? And it turns out they started to see more of those benefits. By just adding in L-BAIBA, you get the mice were getting faster fat burning, more powerful beta oxidation, increased ketone production. They're seeing less bone density loss and just higher bone density in general. A lot of benefits that we talk about on the blog. Now, it is animal research, but it's been very exciting. Now, what happens is that we've been writing about this for quite a while, but NMB Nutrition was the first one to really nail this ingredient because it's L-BAIBA that we want. Valine breaks down into L-BAIBA, not the R-BAIBA. And so NMB was the first with MitoBurn to come out with a bioavailable supplement that was just the L isomer that is actually biologically active for our purposes that we want. In addition, though, and this is where it gets really synergistic with the next ingredient, grains of paradise extract, researchers noticed that BAIBA upregulates PPAR alpha, which then stimulates the body to create more brown fat tissue, brown adipose tissue, or BAT, from white adipose tissue. White adipose tissue is generally the body fat that we think of, our subcutaneous fat, and and we call it WAT sometimes, W-A-T, and that's kind of like the energy consumer. So we store energy into that, and that's good because that's what our bodies are designed to do to survive famine and all that. Brown adipose tissue, however, is more mitochondrially dense, and that's what gives it that darker color, brown, or it's like a beige brown kind of color, and it is the energy consumer. So for instance, if you get really cold, you get the shivers, that's your brown adipose tissue moving things and getting things going, and you start getting hotter, burning more energy. And so L-BAIBA upregulates the mechanism to actually convert white adipose tissue into a little bit more of the brown adipose tissue. They call it the beiging of fat, really. It's not like full-on conversion, but we're getting it more metabolically active. So we've been very excited about MitoBurn, and for me, anecdotally, I always feel a little bit looser there, and I kind of just get like a half a kick more when training with it. So nothing too crazy, and I did kind of get that feeling when I ran my first bottle of Shred Signal here. So what this synergizes very well with is an ingredient that actually ramps up the usage of that brown adipose tissue, and that is the grains of paradise extract. This is a spice known as many names, but Aphromomo melagueta, and it's spicy. It's a great black pepper substitute for cooking, and it kind of comes from the ginger family. We're getting some ginger stuff going on in this supplement. And so what's really nice about this is that the grains of paradise induces a thermogenic effect where it actually activates brown adipose tissue. So we're getting conversion, a little extra conversion with MitoBurn into brown adipose tissue, and then the CaloriBurn grains of paradise extract, which is standardized for 12.5% 6-paradol, which is what the studies showed, actually starts making the body use the brown adipose tissue, and you get a little hot. I mean, that's how it goes. This is a thermogenic stimulant-free fat burner. So we have 2 studies that are on humans with grains of paradise extract. They are with 40 milligrams a day and 30 milligrams a day. You're actually going to get that clinical dosage in just 1 capsule of this because we have 80 milligrams in 2 caps. And in general, what the researchers saw is that basically the 40 milligrams of grains of paradise standardized at this standardization burnt about helped the users burn about 100 calories more per day than the placebo group. So that's nice. You know, it's not 500 calories, but it's definitely a great number. Of course, it's up to you. Like if you're gonna go and eat a 100 calorie snack and waste it, well, yeah, I can't help you there. But the point is that we have a increased metabolic rate in humans from this study. Now, I'm not saying that 80 milligrams will double that. I don't think it's linearly dose dependent or anything like that, but it might give you a little bit more than 100 milligrams since we do have twice the dose. I'm not gonna ever claim it would be 200 calories a day. So we have grains of paradise. Now what's cool with CaloriBurn is that you have 12.5% 6-paradol, which is what those studies use. However, there are 3 other constituents in CaloriBurn, in grains of paradise, that are sometimes not found in every other grains of paradise ingredient out there on the market. So what I like about these is that those constituents also help with some of this thermogenic support per some of the in vitro research and everything. And so 6-gingerol, 6-shogaol, and 6-gingerdione are those other constituents which are found in the lab tests on grains of paradise extract. Now, finally, we get to the third burn mechanism, and that's with ZinjaBurn Dehydrozingerone. This is actually a cousin. I don't know if it's a kind of a chemical cousin, an analog of curcumin. As we know, curcumin has tons and tons of benefits, including antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and then there's some focus benefits. There's the vascular benefits, but there's also a little bit of metabolic support. We don't really talk about that much because curcumin is generally used for its for its anti-inflammatory properties. However, there are, and a lot of us know at this point, that curcumin has bioavailability issues. And so what we do is we either encapsulate it in a liposome or we add black pepper extract, which has been shown to increase the absorption of curcumin by 2,000%. But you got to do some stuff with curcumin to make it more bioavailable. Otherwise, you're gonna have to eat a ton of it and you're eating curry. So but anyway, what DHZ or dehydrozingerone in ZinjaBurn does is it takes kind of the metabolic properties of curcumin and it probably has some anti-inflammatory properties. It does have some anti-inflammatory properties, but it leans more heavily on the metabolic inducing properties and is more soluble and bioavailable than curcumin as it is. And so there's one really cool animal study that the researchers saw when giving the mice dehydrozingerone that it stimulated AMPK activity. Now, AMPK is kind of it's the enzyme that we kind of consider like the we need energy now enzyme. And pretty much this is the enzyme that kind of determines how much energy your cells take in and burn in general. It's kind of the governor, and studies have shown that obese individuals have lower AMPK activity and metabolically fit individuals have higher AMPK activity. We're looking for ways of increasing AMPK, and downstream you get a lot of great effects. And this is what happened in the mice. What they saw is that dehydrozingerone stimulated AMPK, and then they gave these mice an obesogenic diet. But the ones that were fed DHZ instead of placebo, they actually had 15% less fat gain and better lipid profiles. But even more importantly, and the researchers attributed this to the upregulation of AMPK. But even more importantly, the researchers found that the mice that were given dehydrozingerone had 35% lower blood sugar levels and a 30% reduction in insulin levels, both of which are basically going to prevent fat burning. if you have too high of levels. And there's studies kind of showing that beta oxidation gets downregulated if you have too much sugar in the blood, because your body's going to be in like sugar burning mode, or if your levels of insulin are too high, because that's basically the energy storage hormone, so to speak. So this is really promising for those who are looking for a little bit more metabolic activity. And we're hitting 3 different pathways that, in my opinion, are quite synergistic here. And so I'm really excited about ZinjaBurn, and it smells pretty cool too. So that's an extra thing. Now, I get into this. This is where I'm going to go into theoretical mode, because there's a study showing that dehydrozingerone also prevents the breakdown of linoleic acid. Many of you heard me talk about linoleic acid. It is an unstable polyunsaturated omega-6 fatty acid that is, in my opinion, it's very prevalent in the industrialized seed oils that we see, known as vegetable oils, in a lot of the processed foods, such as soybean oil, for instance. Very high linoleic acid that I believe is the true cause of the obesity epidemic that we have ongoing in all this processed food. And it's not carbs, in my opinion. Carbs plus this stuff is probably going to be even worse, though, because then you're just purely in fat storage mode at that point, trying to burn off the carbs. And that's where these processed foods get really dangerous. But anyway, research has shown that over the last half century, our body's fat stores of linoleic acid have skyrocketed. 136% increase in linoleic acid storage. So our bodies store it. And the issue is that when we break it down, there's a ton of toxic end products from the breakdown of linoleic acid. So this is why the soybean oils out there, when you smell them in the fryer, it gets worse and worse and more rancid. The stuff's rancid, and it could go rancid in your body as well, especially when you're trying to break fat. However, dehydrozingerone in vitro has been shown to prevent the oxidation of linoleic acid, and it is my belief that for dieters who become very miserable when they're breaking down their fat, when they're burning fat, and it is quite miserable for an obese individual, is because you basically become toxic from your own fat stores, and it's horrible. I believe that this may prevent some of that linoleic acid breakdown as you try to pass it out of your body, and that potentially help to make dieting a little bit more comfortable. So we need more research on this, but that's my theory on the whole linoleic acid side of things. But dehydrozingerone has been shown to prevent the oxidation. So something worth looking into, especially if you're just one of those that becomes very, very, very miserable when burning fat. There's a good chance it's from the breakdown of these fatty acids that are basically rancid. In addition, now, finally, back to earth here, we have the 5 milligrams of BioPerine. So we've seen, the 2,000% increase in absorption with curcumin. And so that might work with ZinjaBurn as well, where there is a little bit of chemical relativity here. But what's also cool is that BioPerine, which is the constituent in black pepper extract we're standardizing for here, has been shown to upregulate GLUT4. And that's the transporter that helps transport glucose out of the bloodstream and into cells and everything. So this might and get it burned as energy. So this might also help with some fat burning as well. We don't really ever claim that with this, but it's a good little add-on. It's not just for increased absorption. So in general, I'm really excited about some of the metabolic properties of ZinjaBurn tying into what we've already seen with Grains of Paradise extract. And I'm a huge fan of this. It's and I love the fact that they waited until it was Informed Sport certified. So first ever ingredient, if you want to try a little bit of ZinjaBurn, then here it is with Optimum EFX's Shred Signal. Hope you enjoyed. This is a fun one, and it can be stacked with anything. You can put this with your energy drink, with your coffee, with your pre-workout. There's no stimulants. I think it's a pretty cool way to test out the ZinjaBurn, especially if you already know what the Grains of Paradise is going to get you cooked up a little bit more. ZinjaBurn will do a little bit of that as well, at least from my personal perspective. So thanks for watching. Check out PricePlow.com/NMB-nutrition to get updates on when we have new stuff coming from NMB, and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to ask questions, and we'll be linking to this article and to the other articles that dive even deeper into L-BAIBA and Grains of Paradise and all that. Thanks for watching.